There is enough starlight in the universe to set the entire sky on fire. Trillions of suns in our own galaxy, billions of galaxies beyond it. By every rule of geometry, the night above you should blaze in every direction at once. And yet, you look up, and you see almost nothing but black. Step outside on a clear night, far from any city, and the sky fills with stars. A few thousand if your eyes are good. It feels like a lot. It is almost nothing. Our galaxy holds somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars, and the Milky Way is just one galaxy among an estimated 2 trillion in the observable universe. The numbers stop meaning anything. There are more stars overhead than there are grains of sand on every beach on Earth many times over. Now imagine the universe the way astronomers once did. Infinite in size, unchanging, filled evenly with stars in every direction, stretching on forever. In a cosmos like that, something strange happens the moment you pick a direction, any direction, and follow your line of sight outward. Sooner or later, that line has to end on the surface of a star, maybe not a near one. Maybe you travel past millions of empty gaps first, but in an infinite field of stars, no gap goes on forever. Every possible sightline, followed far enough, eventually lands on something burning. It is like standing in an impossibly vast forest. Close to you, you see the spaces between the trees, but look toward the horizon and the trunks overlap into a solid wall of wood. There are no gaps left. If that were true of the universe, the conclusion is inescapable. Every point in the sky would sit on the surface of a star. The whole dome of night would glow, not with scattered pinpricks, but as one unbroken sheet of light, as bright as the surface of the sun, in every direction all at once. The night sky should not be dark. It should be a wall of fire, hot enough to boil the oceans and burn the ground to ash. And yet when you look up, it is black. Overwhelmingly, almost completely black. That contradiction is not a small one. It is one of the deepest questions ever asked about the cosmos. And for a long time, nobody could answer it. The darkness itself was the mystery. The simple fact that we can look up at night and see nothing was quietly telling us that something we believed about the universe had to be wrong. The problem has a name, Olbers's paradox, after the German astronomer Heinrich Wilhelm Olbers, who laid it out clearly in 1823, though he was not the first to feel its weight. Johannes Kepler had been troubled by the same darkness 2 centuries earlier. He looked at the black sky and took it as proof that the universe could not be infinite. All that emptiness felt like a message. The reason the paradox is so hard to escape is that it survives your first attempt to solve it. The obvious objection is distance. Stars farther away look fainter. Surely the distant ones are simply too dim to matter. But the mathematics refuses to cooperate. Yes, a star twice as far away delivers only a quarter of the light. Its brightness falls with the square of the distance. But now, count how many stars sit at that greater distance. Picture a thin shell of space wrapped around you at some radius. Push that shell twice as far out, and its surface area grows by exactly 4 times. 4 times the volume, 4 times as many stars. The two effects cancel perfectly. Every shell of the sky, near or far, contributes the same total amount of light. And in an infinite universe, there are infinitely many shells. Add them all up, and the light does not just stay bright, it climbs toward infinity. You can try to rescue the sky another way. Maybe dust and gas float between the stars, soaking up the light before it reaches us. Olbers himself reached for this idea, but it fails too. In an eternal universe, that dust would absorb starlight for so long that it would heat up and begin to glow just as brightly as the stars themselves. Nothing can hide in front of an infinite furnace forever. Eventually, everything becomes part of the fire. So the logic closes like a trap. If the universe is infinite, eternal, and filled evenly with stars, the sky must be blindingly bright. There is no way around it, but the sky is dark, which means one of those three assumptions, infinite, eternal, filled evenly, has to be false. The darkness overhead was not merely an absence of light, it was a clue, and it was pointing at something enormous about the nature of everything. The first person to grasp the real answer was not an astronomer. He was a writer better known for tales of murder and madness. In 1848, 1 year before his death, Edgar Allan Poe published a strange, sprawling prose poem called Eureka. It was his attempt to explain the entire universe. Most of it was speculation, but buried inside was an insight that professional science would not fully catch up to for another century. Poe reasoned that the darkness of the night sky could mean only one thing. If the stars really did go on without end, then the only way for so much of the sky to be empty was if the light from the most distant stars simply had not arrived yet. It was still on its way. That single idea cracks the paradox open. Light does not travel instantly. It moves fast, about 300,000 kilometers every second, but not infinitely fast. When you look at the sun, you see it as it was 8 minutes ago. Look at the nearest star beyond it, and you see light that left more than 4 years ago. Look deep into the galaxies, and you are staring millions, even billions, of years into the past, which leads to the piece the old astronomers were missing. The universe is not eternal. It had a beginning. As far as we can measure, it burst into existence about 13.8 billion years ago, and that changes everything. If the universe is only 13.8 billion years old, then light has only had 13.8 billion years to travel. There is a limit to how far we can possibly see, a horizon drawn not through space, but through time. Beyond it, there may be countless more stars, but their light has not had enough time to cross the gulf and reach us. It is still crossing, right now, through the dark. The sky is black, not because the stars are absent. It is black because we are surrounded by starlight still in transit, light that left long ago and will only arrive long after we are gone. Olbers assumed an eternal universe, and the eternity was the mistake. The night is dark because the universe is young. And a poet, staring at the same blackness that had defeated the astronomers, was the first to understand what it was trying to say. But the finite age of the universe is only half of the answer. The other half is stranger, and it means the sky is not truly dark at all. The universe is not sitting still, it is expanding. Every galaxy drifts away from every other, and the space between them stretches, like the surface of a balloon being blown up. And when space stretches, the light traveling through it stretches with it. A wave of light pulled longer shifts toward the red end of the spectrum, and then past it, into the infrared, into microwaves, into wavelengths your eyes were never built to detect. This is redshift. The farther away a galaxy is, the faster it recedes and the more its light is stretched. The most distant light of all is pulled so far that it slips out of the visible world entirely, dimmed and reddened into invisibility before it ever reaches you. So even the light that does complete the journey can arrive, drained of every color your eyes can see. But here is the part that should stop you cold. Wind the expanding universe backward, and everything grows hotter and denser until the whole cosmos was a glowing fog of plasma. About 380,000 years after the beginning, that fog finally cleared, and the universe released a flash of light in every direction at once, a burst of radiation that filled all of space. That light never went out. It is still arriving. It reaches us from every point in the sky without a single gap, exactly the wall of light that Olbers demanded. But 13.8 billion years of expansion has stretched it far beyond red, down into microwaves. We call it the cosmic microwave background, and it is everywhere. If your eyes could see microwaves, the entire night sky would blaze from horizon to horizon with no dark patch anywhere. The paradox was, right all along, the sky is on fire. Every direction you look really does end in light. Light left over from the birth of the universe, you simply cannot see it. The fire is there, your eyes are just too weak and tuned to too narrow a band to feel its glow. So, the black sky was never empty. It was full of meaning the whole time. Every night, without a telescope, without any instrument at all, you can look up and read two of the largest facts about existence straight off the darkness. The sky is dark, which means the universe had a beginning, because an eternal universe would have filled with light long ago. And the sky is dark, which means the universe is expanding, because a static one would never have stretched its oldest light out of sight. A truly infinite, unchanging, eternal cosmos would drown you in fire. The fact that it does not is the signature of creation itself, printed above your head every single night. Think about what that means. The darkness you have looked at your whole life and never questioned is not the absence of a universe, it is the fingerprint of its birth. The blackness is not nothing. It is the shape of a beginning and the trace of an expansion still unfolding, and it leaves one question hanging open. If the night looks empty only because so much of its light has been stretched past what human eyes evolved to catch, then how much of the universe are we simply blind to? We are built to see one thin sliver of all the light there is. Everything else, the microwave glow of the beginning, the infrared warmth of the most distant galaxies, whole floods of radiation pouring through your body at this exact moment, passes through us unseen. The darkness is not the edge of what exists. It is only the edge of what we were built to perceive, and out beyond it, in wavelengths no eye will ever open to, the whole sky is still burning. The darkness overhead was never empty. It's the oldest light in existence, stretched too far for human eyes to follow. Subscribe and keep looking at everything you were never built to see.